so I'm just going to be casting the matches between Liivet and WinstonWobbleton today, and then as soon as I get the recorded game files for the other matches, then I will cast those. And if you're curious, the settings are Arabia and Standard, so might as well get going. Alright, so Liivet versus WinstonWobbleton. Round 1 for the Aoe2 HD OZ Clan's Arabia 16 1v1 tournament. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm assuming. Okay, so they both definitely randomed. I'm assuming so. Liivet is Mongols and WinstonWobbleton is the Spanish. Looks like Liivet is opening up with the standard opening of, just putting down 2 houses. And what is... Alright, WinstonWobbleton's got a few idle villagers right off the bat. It's not good, but he is also opening with the still standard 2 houses. Doing a little bit of scouting. It looks like he has not found his sheep yet. So right off the bat, I can definitely say that Liivet appears to be at least faster than WinstonWobbleton right off the bat. I can say that. Because Liivet has already almost, I would say that he's like 2/3 done with 1 sheep by the time that WinstonWobbleton starts his. And I would say that that's probably an issue on scouting. Like right now his scout is idle, but if you look at Liivet, he is actually still scouting. And he's making good use of all of his units. You can see that Liivet is also scouting with his sheep, which I think is pretty important. And yeah, you can really see that he's got a lot of vision going on here, which is great. And he's doing the standard thing, where he's got 6 villagers on sheep. You'll notice that he only keeps 1 sheep under the town center at a time, basically, so that only one of them's getting harvested. Because sheep slowly decay over time, so if only one of them is decaying, then you get a little extra food out of it. And it's the little things that can make the difference. So anyway, he's got the 6 villagers on sheep, then he's plopping down his lumber camp. He's probably going to put 3 on that, and then transition into another house, I think, and then get the boar. So already we can see some discrepancy in the build order between the players. If you take a look at WinstonWobbleton, he has 7 villagers on sheep instead of Liivet's 6. And right there you can see that he has a 2nd sheep decaying, which is a little bit inefficient but doesn't make a huge difference. I want to compare the vision that the 2 players have though, because Liivet is using his sheep to scout, and he's doing a great job really at maintaining his vision. But yeah, he's got 3 villagers on the lumber camp, and he's going to shoot the boar twice, and then lure the boar back to his town center. Now, he has to be careful because he's accidentally body blocking it with his sheep. Ah, that's actually pretty funny. Anyway, he's doing it without loom, which is definitely recommended if you know what you're doing. Looks like, yeah, so he's plopping down the house now. He's going to kill the boar. Very well played, very well played. I'm assuming that since he's got a large flock of deer here, not really a flock, but a large group of deer here, he's going to be, yeah, he's going to start hunting those right now to exploit that Mongol hunting bonus to its full potential. What he's going to do is he's going to put, I'm assuming, 4 villagers on 1 deer so that before the villagers have to drop off the food from the deer will be completely finished. So there will be no excess walking time that the villagers have to do, which I think is pretty important. He might just put 3 though, because of the Mongol hunting bonus, I think. And yeah, he's going to get the 2nd boar right off the bat, so that as this boar is almost finished, he's going to have the other boar under there immediately. And see how WinstonWobbleton is doing. Alright, so he got loom, so he's slightly behind in an economic sense, but not by a significant margin. So you're going to shoot that twice. Now I want to compare vision though. Alright, so WinstonWobbleton has some very spotty vision, unfortunately. Usually what players will want to do is they'll want to scout out and basically find all their immediate near resources. So this would include your secondary gold mine. You start with one that's like 7, and then you have another one that's 4, And you know, like you got 5 here and then 4 somewhere else. So usually most players will try and scout out this stuff before they move on to scouting aggressively. It looks like WinstonWobbleton is plopping down a second lumber camp. This is a curious decision because his first lumber camp isn't very saturated. I think it's important to get out an extra lumber camp when you've got too many villagers at a lumber camp. I would say maybe 7 or so should probably be the cap. Let's take a look at how Liivet is doing. Yeah, he should probably put all of his villagers on 1 deer, because the deer decay as well, but that doesn't make a significant difference. I'm assuming that Liivet has a lot of extra wood. Yes, so Liivet has a lot more wood than WinstonWobbleton, and he's going to have a very, very fast Feudal Age because of this Mongol hunting bonus. And yeah, now he's going to have the standard 4 villagers hunting. This is great. You'll notice that Liivet is using the forced drop-off. He's going to have his villagers like drop off food manually. He's going to select them all by dragging a box around them, and he's just going to right-click the town center or garrison them in to force drop off that food to shave off the extra few seconds, which is very, very cool. So he's going to have an insanely fast feudal. And you notice that, you know, he's holding on to a lot of wood. He's got an extra 100 wood on Mr. Wobbleton over here, because Wobbleton has 2 lumber camps, which this one is not saturated at all. Which means that, oh yeah, and great. So, fast reaction speed. He knows that Winston is sending his scout through here, so he makes the great decision, and he garrisons his town center and just guns down the scout. This is huge, because now Wobbleton has no vision whatsoever. He's not going to be able to effectively scout, and like I said, the fact that Liivet was holding onto all this wood is really, really important. Because now he can just plop down a barracks, which he's doing right now, and the feudal flush is coming. We will see how Wobbleton reacts to this. It looks like he's actually still hunting his second boar, but that makes sense, I suppose, not being the Mongols. This clump of deer here, though, is going to give Liivet a huge, huge eco advantage. I'm assuming because he's floating so much food that he's going to plop out a stable and go scouts, but we'll see if I'm right. Ah, there we go. Stable and scouts. It's great because he can very easily afford it because of all this extra food that he has. Alright, so it looks like Wobbleton is saturating his lumber camps now, and yes, he's putting down his barracks. It's not that this is necessarily that late of a barracks, it's just that Liivet has a much faster feudal time. I do really like how Wobbleton is attempting a wall-off, however, I would say this wall-off is in a very bad position. For one, his lumber camp is right here, so these villagers would be incredibly vulnerable to harass. Liivet knows all of this because he's scouting, so you know he can see that there's a lumber camp right here. He knows where both of them are, and those are your targets when you're rushing. Is almost always the lumber camp, because wood is like the most important resource. So yeah, I'm not liking this wall off right here because these villagers are going to easily be able to get hit by archers or anything that comes by. And yeah, we've got scouts coming out right now. Liivet's still using the forced drop-off to ensure that his villager production stays high. And yeah, he sees all of this coming. What Wobbleton should probably do is try and wall at the top of a hill, just because when Liivet goes in here, there's this huge hill at the front. It's gonna give him a huge advantage in the combat. And these villagers are super vulnerable, and this isn't even a complete wall off. If you put another house right here, this might be okay in the meantime, but the scouts are coming. And we will see, is Wobbleton advancing yet? Alright, so Wobbleton is almost up. His feudal time is actually pretty good, but you'll notice that the population difference between the two of them is staggering. And it's not just that Liivet has, you know, like 4 scouts, right? It's that Liivet still has more villagers, despite the fact that he advanced sooner. Wobbleton should have at least equal population, but he doesn't. So anyway, I expect to see spearmen coming out from Red's barracks. Looks like he's going archers, or skirms actually, because, oh no, he's going archers. He's got gold on that. But yeah, like I said, you know, like, these villagers are super vulnerable up here, and there's nothing he can do about that. You'll see the spears coming out. Liivet is going to wisely back off, because that spearman will can kill a scout in about 3 hits. And yeah, he's just slipping through this wall. Look at all this idle time that these villagers are having right here, so this is really great from Liivet. And Liivet is also attempting a wall off himself. I like this wall off a bit better, even though it's, there's still a hill advantage here. It's actually closed off, and there aren't any really vulnerable villagers near here. Obviously, besides the foragers, but those aren't nearly as important as the lumberjacks. I'd say the most important thing is to make sure that your lumber camp is in a safe position. This one's in a bit better of a position, not great, because archers and skirms can still slip over here and still fire at them. But this one is in a terrible position. I do like how Wobbleton is getting out a lot of these spearmen, though. That is a very good decision. Interesting to see that he is deciding to go archers, though. He does have the right eco for it, but, Liivet's got all these scouts here, and those are going to devastate those archers. What he should probably do is split up his spearmen between these locations, and maybe make a few more, so that he doesn't get kited by these scouts all day, because, yeah, look at that. All of these villagers forced to be idle right here. It's as if he doesn't have them at all. And during this entire time, Liivet is not stopping his villager production, and I'm assuming he's accumulating quite the population advantage. And he's still getting a good wall off here, so let's go. Yeah, there's like a 10 difference in population. That is a big problem. Looks like the archers are finally coming out. You can tell he's got nothing garrisoned there because there's no flag, so... Looks like Liivet has got some excellent, excellent control. He did lose one scout there, but that is so worth it, because, again, he's just really crippling Winston's economy here, and that is really significant. It's, I really still don't like this decision to have two different lumber camps here, because, only one of them can really be saturated. He doesn't have enough villagers yet for that. Whereas, Liivet's is saturated enough that I think he could split into two if he wanted to, but he's not going to. You can see now that Liivet is obviously transitioning into archers, because now he's putting down his mining camp. And the reason that he's doing this and stopping his scout production is so that he can still get a reasonably fast castle age time. He does not want to spend that extra food. You'll notice that a lot of expert players will make a couple scouts or men-at-arms and whatnot, skirmishers, things that cost food in the feudal age as they, just get to the feudal age. But then they will transition into primarily archers and things that cost very little food. So you'll never see a professional player continue going into scouts. And this is because he needs to conserve his food so that he can still go in advance. Alright, so this is good. It looks like Wobbleton has repelled Liivet's scouts for now. But we got all these idle villagers over here, and the score discrepancy is getting pretty significant. The archers are coming out from Liivet right here. And yeah, his economy is looking good. He's slowly stockpiling food. He's still keeping his villager production up. He's going to put a lot more on gold, though, as you can tell from his gather point. He's going to need it. And he should have a reasonably fast castle time as well. And this wall off is good. His base is very, very well designed. And he's just keeping Wobbleton forcing him to defend himself, so that Liivet doesn't even need to worry about putting down any defensive watchtowers or anything that might slow him down. I do like the watchtower position a bit, because it does protect his gold, and it does protect this one lumber camp. But I don't think that makes a huge difference, just because there's such a big discrepancy between them right now. And Liivet's really not using this lumber camp. It does protect the gold, that's important, but this lumber camp is still vulnerable to harass, unless you put like a palisade here or here to block the villagers from walking around the beach. Yeah, so Liivet has rebuilt his lumber camp so that's closer. This is important because, again, it's all about the little things. He's got two mining camps here because he wants to ensure that his villagers spend as little time walking as possible. It's standard for most players to build at least a couple spears from their barracks, but you'll notice that Liivet has not done that at all, and that's a wise decision. He doesn't have to because there's no stable from WinstonWobbleton right now, so just saving a few extra resources. He's already got enough food to advance, now he just needs a little extra gold. I'm assuming that's why he's holding off the archer production, because he just wants to go to the next stage right now as soon as he can. And that would be huge. Look at all these spears that he's forced out from WinstonWobbleton here. That's going to really slow down his castle age timing. I think he overreacted a bit on the spears because no I guess no smart player will commit to scouts forever. You know, the players will build varying amounts of scouts based on the situation, but I don't think you'll ever see a professional player build, you know, maybe more than 8 scouts. So you don't need that many spears, maybe like 5 tops. But he's got quite a few. And a lot of idle villagers. Just Liivet's just got great control going on here. And the nice part about keeping these scouts alive, which he's been doing a great job at, is that he sees everything. He's got great vision all the time. Whereas I don't remember the last time that... yeah, okay, so WobbleTon hasn't seen Liivet's base since the Dark Age, which is very, very significant. He has no idea what's going on over here. He hasn't even seen the archery ranges yet. And Liivet has very wisely not played his hand yet. He has not revealed the archers, but they're coming. And I'm assuming that, yes. So he's sending these archers, he's doing a timing attack, where his archers he'll reveal that he has archers just as he hits the castle age, so he can get the crossbowmen and start working on bodkin arrow. And then there'll be this brief window where the technology advantage that he has over WobbleTon will be huge. And you notice he's holding this hill right here too, in case WobbleTon decides to come up here, but he's just distracting WobbleTon, just pulling these units away and distracting him. Very, very significant. I wonder where this villager's going. Hopefully to wall this off, or perhaps he's just not watching it. The Castle Age is coming, and yeah, Liivet's got his upgrades coming out. He just got fletching. Padded archer armor will finish just as he hits the Castle Age, which is perfect. Then he's going to get his bodkin arrow out, and then crossbowmen, and there's going to be a huge tech advantage. WobbleTon does not have a blacksmith out yet, which means that like the tech advantage is going to be significant, and I think Liivet knows this, which is why he's going in a little ahead of time. And yeah, now he's just going to stream archers across the map, and this is when WobbleTon's in big trouble. And you'll notice that, you know, he knows that he's low on gold because he's producing all these archers, so he's getting more and more miners. It's all about adjusting your economy to meet your needs. And look at this micro from Liivet. This is great. He's just shooting the spears and then backing up, and the superior control here is staggering. Liivet is playing this like an absolute mastermind, and we're going to see the crossbowman up. Yep, crossbowman's coming out. And where is his blacksmith? Yep, and bodkin arrow's coming out, and another town center. Great play here from Liivet. WobbleTon is trying, but looks like Liivet's superior control here is going to make the difference. And yes, I love this. Forward siege workshop at the top of the hill. Gotta really pressure him. Gotta seal the deal right now. I would say that, oh gosh, yeah. Liivet knows that he can just go in right now and it doesn't matter. He's just gonna hold this lumber camp and one-shot all these guys because he's got no blacksmith upgrades. Alright, really, really great game here from both players, and Liivet demonstrating that he's got intense mastery of Arabia and all the mechanics and whatnot. His micro is great, his economy management was great. He knows all sorts of advanced tactics like timing, like the timing attack in the Castle Age. Didn't invest too much in scouts, and really, I would say that the scouting and the control here was what won the game. WobbleTon has basically no vision, whereas Liivet knew everything all at once and just kept WobbleTon bottled in his base. Alright, so let's check out the achievements. Alright, so the score discrepancy here is pretty significant, as we can tell. And yeah, wow. Liivet's control, like I said, exceptional. He only lost 3 units, and I believe those were all scouts. And what a great trade it was to lose those scouts. So, definitely within his best interest. WobbleTon was definitely keeping up in his army size, but the tech advantage that Liivet had was gigantic. And yeah, you'll see the superior economy right here. Yeah, the exploration difference, I think that made the difference. This is a very fast Feudal Age, by the way, which is why he invested so heavily in hunting several things at once. He had both boars under his town center at the same time while he was hunting deer. And if you're playing Mongols and you're planning on going super aggressive in the Feudal Age, like as fast as you can to catch your opponent off guard, that's how you do it. And WobbleTon's Feudal Age was also good, but I don't think he was ready for the scouts. Perhaps if he had palisade walls or something, like houses, try and get a little bit of a wall off there. Yeah, the research count difference is also pretty significant. Wobbleton did keep up pretty well, though, with the villager high, I would say. But most of his were idle all the time, which was a shame. Alright, so thank you so much for watching this match, guys. I will be back in just a few minutes with the next match. And don't forget to check out the Aoe2 HD OZ Clan. They're the group that is hosting this tournament. Alright, so I'm going to be back in just a minute, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will be right back. Alright, let us get to the second game in the series. And yeah, I am still reading the chat, guys, so even if I don't respond to it, I am still reading it, so don't worry. And yeah, don't get me wrong, both players there were quite good, and like I said, you know, WinstonWobbleton, he had a great feudal time and whatnot, and he made a lot of good plays too. It's just that Liivet, in the end, you know, he had the superior control, and I would say that the control and the scouting and whatnot just won the game, so. Hey, thanks for tuning in, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm very excited to see Game 2, though, because usually Game 2 is always better than Game 1, because the players will learn about the style of their opponents, so I expect that Wobbleton will know a lot of Liivet's tricks, which I think will be pretty important. All right. Alright, so now I'm going to be casting Game 2 in the series of Liivet versus WinstonWobbleton in the Aoe2 HD OZ Clan's Arabia 16 1v1 tournament. If you are just tuning in now, Game 1 will be on it'll be on their official clan channel, and it will eventually be on my YouTube channel as well, which the link is at the top of the screen up here. And if you're just tuning in now, make sure to check out the previous games. And I will be casting the rest of the tournament as soon as I get the recorded game files. So let's go jump straight into Game 2. Alright, so it looks like the map here is Ghost Lake, and we've got Koreans versus Vikings. Alright, so this will be pretty interesting here. Koreans are not a very common civ that on maps that aren't like Black Forest or Michi that are easy to defend. This has a lot to do with the fact that the Koreans are a very strong late-game civilization, but their early game is a little suspect. They do have a nice defense, though, and we will see how Liivet works with that. Vikings are an interesting Arabian open map civilization. Despite there not actually being any water on this map at all, the Vikings actually perform surprisingly well, and this is because of the Vikings having a very, very, very strong economy due to their free wheelbarrow and handcart. They have incredibly weak horses, but that's not a big deal in the Castle Age, so they can still mass knights with their amazing economy. And they got really good archers too, so their Feudal Age is good. Getting the free wheelbarrow can really make the difference. So this will be interesting to see. Still got the standard 6 going on here. Doing some good scouting. Looks like Liivet has actually a fairly easy base to wall off. He's like right next to the edge. Alright, so it looks like Wobbleton is putting his lumber camp at the front of his base right now. And yeah, so like I was saying anyway, sorry for the brief interruption, that Liivet's base is really easy to wall, although his gold is at the front. I do like the decision to put the lumber camp over here. He's got two good places to chop that is not dangerous. Whereas putting your lumber camp at the front of your base right here, it would probably be better if you put it over there. Actually, yeah, this is the best spot for it. Because then, if he put his lumber camp over here, he can just palisade this off with some houses and keep that lumber camp safe. Very, very important. Both players have their gold at the front, though. So this will be interesting to see how that goes. Alright, so Liivet is definitely going for a significantly different opening here. He's got 4 on wood right now, which means that he's going to have a much faster barracks than Mr. Wobbleton over here. Wobbleton's got the 6 on sheep right now and the 3 on wood, and looks like he's got his 4th villager coming out. Is there a population discrepancy? Yeah, I guess Liivet is 1 population ahead. Could make the difference here. And yeah, he's gonna force drop off the food from those sheep and then shoot at the boar and kill it under his town center. If you're wondering why he forced drop off the food from the sheep before he shoots the boar, that's because if your villager's holding like sheep meat and you have it go harvest from a boar, that food disappears because I guess it's a different type of food. Or that's the only logical explanation for it. Ghost Lake is an interesting map because there's a lot of extra sheep on it, so I would say that that really awards good scouting. Now, alright, yeah, so it looks like Wobbleton is having issues locating his other sheep, which is why he's just chopping these trees right now to minimize his idle time, so very good play right there. And now that the boar is coming back, he's going to shoot it. Alright, good. Let's see, 5 on wood right now. Alright, his mill's coming out. We got 4 right here. And he's gonna get Liivet's gonna get the second boar just as his first boar is reaching around 120 food, so that he can start harvesting it just as this one finishes, to minimize the amount of time things are decaying. Looks like Wobbleton found some more sheep. This is good. He's going the second lumber camp again here. I think this is a pretty significant mistake. It's just a waste of wood, and it's gonna really delay his barracks, whereas... So yeah, Wobbleton's got 97 wood right now, and it looks like Liivet almost has enough for his barracks, and he's going to put that out pretty soon after he starts working on this wall off. I'll be curious to see if Liivet is going to go for a more defensive build this game, just because he's the Koreans and his watchtowers are very, very, very strong. Especially because he gets, you know, the free guard tower keep and the bonus range. Very, very significant. I would just say that the eco-management choices from Liivet are just a little bit better this game. I would say that You know, Age of Empires 2 is all about the little choices, and the decision to build a second lumber camp so soon can be quite crippling. Oh, but he is also going for a second lumber camp. Oh, that's probably because he's going to pull all these villagers off board and go saturate that, but hopefully he does that. So yeah, apparently Wobbleton will actually get his barracks out first. Not that I think that makes too big of a difference. You'll notice that both players are wisely not having any sheep decay while they're actually harvesting the boar. It's these little things, right? Is you want to make sure that you're just not losing any food. You're not burning any money. It'll be curious to see if Wobbleton is going for a drush of some sort. You can tell if a player is going for a drush, which would be that he sends militia out in the Dark Age, if he has one villager mine 10 gold and then just have it drop it off at the town center. But when players drush, they never build a mining camp here, they just mine 10 gold and just drop that off. That's how you can get 3 militia out, because they cost 20 gold apiece. Alright, yeah, so he's saturating both camps. So, even though I'm not sure about getting the double lumber camp out from Liivet here, I still think it's... Oh yeah, because he's definitely going to go hard into archers. So this makes a lot more sense, and he does have both of them reasonably saturated. So going the double lumber camp is definitely fine, while you've got your second boar going on, so that you can saturate both of them, but if you plop it down too early, you might not actually have enough villagers to saturate it. Okay, so Liivet has shown us obviously that he's clearly going for archers because he's got 2 lumber camps, which means he's got a lot of guys on wood, and he's got very few villagers on food. Yeah, and he's just pulling even more onto wood, and he's got his early mining camp. And his barracks is going down. And yeah, he's going to like partially wall this area, and he's going to wall this off a bit. His gold will be very vulnerable to harass, but I'm assuming he's just going to put a watchtower by here in case he needs to. We'll see how the scouting is going from both players. It looks like Liivet is finally going on the aggressive scout and trying to find him. Has Wobbleton found Liivet yet? Wobbleton has not found Liivet yet, actually, and he's got significantly less map vision. This will be pretty significant. Well, he's got his idle TC right now while he's waiting to get the extra food. And is he going to advance now? Alright, cool. But yeah, as usual, this lumber camp is very, 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 very vulnerable. And, uh-oh, Liivet found it now. And as soon as he gets to the Feudal Age, I'm expecting a double archery range from Liivet. And then he's going to go straight into archers. Although he could still go scouts because he does have a bit of food, but I'm expecting the archers. Just because the gold wouldn't make sense unless he's going for bloodlines on his scouts, but Koreans don't get bloodlines, so... Yeah, and he's doing that wise thing where he's garrisoning his villagers. Notice how he doesn't ring the town bell. This is huge. Because he doesn't want unnecessary villagers to be idle, and Wobbleton recognizes this pretty quickly and just gets out of there. Yeah, so we got one range going down. We'll see if he, how heavily he wants to invest in this, if he wants a second range at all. Yeah, definitely very significant here, and as usual, he is a little bit ahead on that. Is he going to do second range? Second range, and the archers are coming. Yeah, that's why he invested so heavily in wood, is so that he could plop out 2 ranges, and he's pulled a lot of villagers off to build that a little faster. Because it's all about the speed right here. Oh, hunting these deer is very risky. I'm not sure about that, just because they're so at the front of his base and very hard to defend. What I think Wobbleton should do is he should try and get some sort of wall-off going and create a choke point. He sort of has a more open map than Liivet, so that's a shame. What maybe he wants to do is maybe put like some palisades around here. You can leave this area open because, you know, Liivet's not going to he's not going to want to walk troops under this town center fire. And then just sort of saturate this lumber camp, just wall this off, maybe put a watchtower right here. Yep, so it looks like Wobbleton is also going for archers, and I love this. Yeah, he's got this side walled off, this side is going to be almost walled off, and he's going to be relatively safe. Since Liivet is a little bit ahead on his army size and whatnot, he's going to be able to, I guess, be very, very safe from Wobbleton, so he doesn't need to worry about his gold being in such a vulnerable position. Although both players really do have a vulnerable position. I like this because he forced those 2 villagers to get idle here and really delayed the archer range. Liivet's control and map awareness is very, very, very good. Yeah, I really like the decision to get the spears out and keep them by this deer, though. Because that is definitely going to be Liive's target. Because those villagers are easy pickings. And as soon as Liive gets enough... Oh, there's a blacksmith already. Alright, so he's one step ahead of me. So yeah, as soon as he got enough wood, he's going to go for the blacksmith, and he's going to get fletching out. And get that huge, huge eco and technology advantage thing going on. These spearmen are unfortunately sitting ducks. Actually, I take back what I said about putting spearmen here, because that's the obvious target. If Wobbleton scouted this, which I'm sure he did... Okay, no, he didn't. So yeah, I guess I don't blame him in that case, especially because Liive went scouts last game, but these spearmen are easy pickings. And these deer hunters are screwed. I hope that Wobbleton is going skirms right now, and I believe he is, so let's go take a look. Yeah, and he's wisely putting down a second range right here. But these villagers are absolutely dead. He's going to have to pull them off right now before they take some unnecessary pot shots. Is that a third range? Oh my. He's investing a lot here. There's a hill advantage, so these villagers should live if he pulls them away. Okay, good. Yeah, he's pulling them away right now. This is very good. Alright, so we got a 25 population right now to 42. Oh my. And it looks like fletching is already out. Great. When you're doing your blacksmith technologies, you really, really want to prioritize the range and attack upgrades, like fletching. And then if you're a melee unit of some sort, you want to prioritize the defensive upgrades. Great play from Wobbleton right here, taking out Liive's scout to sort of reduce his vision, because notice how as Liive is going in and he's harassing all these villagers, he's still scouting actively so that Wobbleton can't surprise him. And Wobbleton is wisely pulling all these lumberjacks over here, but he's got nothing to defend this, really. He's in deep trouble. You can tell from the score discrepancy that, well, there's just a huge advantage that Liive has right now, and he's got a full tech advantage here. Wobbleton does not have a blacksmith, and that's really, really, really significant. Those skirmishers are not going to be very effective with the extra fletching. Oh my. So yeah, whenever you're rushing someone, make sure to prioritize their lumberjacks, but you gotta scout beforehand. You gotta find where their lumber camps are, and that was the first thing that Liive did, is he made sure to find the lumber camps and to just keep these villagers off wood, because if Wobbleton can't get wood, he's not going to be able to make any skirmishers or do anything. I mean, he won't be able to harvest food too when he runs out of wood, and I'm assuming he's slowly getting to that point. Still very wise for him to go skirmishers. This is the exact response. But I don't think that's going to make a difference. I think Liive is going to try and lure these guys, yeah, so he gets the elevation advantage, and I think he's going to turn around and fight right here. Brilliant play from Liive. Not only does he have the tech advantage, but he's also got the hill advantage. And like I said, Liive's micro, exceptional. Notice how he's focus firing individual skirmishers here. This is huge. Whereas Wobbleton is just having his guys just split their fire among several archers. Now look at this again. Liive is focus firing, and these guys are all shooting at different archers. Which means, and yeah, Liive's doing some sidestepping action here. Not that that matters though. Like, Liive's got this hill advantage right now, and the focus fire is really making the difference. Wobbleton is defending this nicely though, but Liive's just doing that thing where he keeps him bottled in his base. And Liive's got a great defense here. He's got these, he's got his wall off just far enough in front so that these guys are not vulnerable to archer harass. And if absolutely need be, he can always just put a watchtower here. So this is great. And it's a wall off almost entirely composed of houses, which means that it's very, very durable. Liive is definitely going to lose these archers here, but look at all the villager casualties he has caused. And the damage to Wobbleton's economy is insane. You'll notice how there aren't actually any holes in Liive's wall off, but that's just because he can easily delete a palisade wall, walk through whatever he needs to, and then just rebuild it. He doesn't want any holes in case that Wobbleton gets the castle age, gets some knights out, or just Wobbleton just gets some scouts. Or if just Wobbleton tries to sneak in any troops at all, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Yeah, just the fact that Wobbleton does not have a blacksmith is pretty big. But I don't think he can afford to get one out right now. This is looking to be a very, very bad situation. Is Liivet going to the Castle Age now? He is. This is why I really, really particularly like the barracks into the 2 archer range opening style thing with this wall off here, because this allows him to get still quite a good castle time. He's going to be up by about, 21, 30, 22 minutes, somewhere in that range. Despite the fact that he's made a ton of guys, and that's because archers don't cost food, so it's not going to slow down his castle age by a significant amount. And he didn't open with scouts either this time, so... Alright, so it looks like Liivet is going in. He's probably going to try and wait for the crossbowman and then the bodkin arrow like he did last game. And yeah, he's just got a well-balanced economy going on here. He's got so many villagers on gold because he knows he needs them. Alright, this would be an interesting fight because Liivet does not have a hill advantage here. He's trying to do this strategy where there's a flanking formation, I believe is what it's called, where when you're taking hits from archers or skirmishers, really just any ranged unit that uses a missile attack of some sort, and they don't have thumbering yet, or ballistics, what you do is you just split the formation into the flanking formation, and then they will dodge they'll like sidestep and dodge all the projectiles. Liivet tried to do that. His timing was slightly off, but that doesn't make a difference. Either way, a great tactic to use, and it's really cool to see him try and use that. Wobbleton is wisely holding this hill and gets a few free shots here. Yeah, you'll notice that Liivet tries to avoid walking in a straight line in front, and he'll try and walk at an angle so that he can dodge these projectiles. And now he is up to the Castle Age. Wobbleton is finally getting his economy a little bit back on track, but I think the difference here is way too significant to come back from. We've got, again, the crossbowman thing coming out here, bodkin arrow, and another town center. Liivet had this all planned out. What a great place for a town center as well, because this wood is so protected, and this gold is in great position as well. So yeah, just masterful, masterful play from Liivet. And Wobbleton is doing a good job too, but Liivet's got this superior control thing going on right now, and it is making all the difference. Yeah, it's just the lack of blacksmith upgrades on Wobbleton is going to cost him this one. I'm going to say that Liivet's technology advantage right now is too big for Wobbleton to really come back from. And will be interesting to see if he's going for Thumbring. No, it looks like he's just going to keep going into this. I really love his decision to also pump some knights out, because these skirmishers, as Wobbleton is so wisely built, great decision, is that they're incredibly, incredibly weak to knights. Just one knight can devastate, absolutely devastate this entire group of skirmishers. Because the skirmishers have minimum range, and they only do 1 damage to knights. Even with fletching, they only do 1 damage to knights. Is he going to get the blacksmith out? Doesn't look like he's bothering with the blacksmith. And yeah, Liivet's got this slight hill advantage here, and he's focus firing. Wobbleton is not focus firing. And yeah, this one knight is going to come here, and it's going to be devastating. I've seen the Viper do this before, where he'll just get one knight out against a player who he's forced heavily into skirmishers. And I really like the archer opening too, because if you force someone heavily into skirmishers, it slows down their castle age. Alright, well, great game from both players here, and a great series, and it looks like Liivet has taken this 2-0. So I guess we'll just look around a little bit. Yeah, he plopped out another town center. It's all about getting all those villagers out. Yeah, tech advantage here. I think that was a deciding factor in this game. Perhaps if Wobbleton had fletching and padded archer armor, the game may have gone different. Alright, so let's check out the achievements. So this is a much closer game than last game, at least from military's perspective, as you can tell. Wobbleton very wisely teched heavily into skirmishers, which was the perfect choice against these archers, and he really got to kill a lot of those archers from Liivet. But Liivet just had the tech advantage, so the skirmishers were a bit less effective, and being in the castle age, he had access to knights as well. Yeah, and zoning Wobbleton off the gold mine was pretty significant, which is, I'm assuming, why he didn't bother building a blacksmith at all, because he probably didn't have the gold to get fletching anyway. He was in a very, very tough situation. And as usual, you know, he got a good feudal time and whatnot. But Liivet's was a bit faster, and getting a really fast feudal time, even if you have very few villagers, on an open map can be very significant. Just because, yeah, you know, the tech advantage again. He can start getting archers out while Wobbleton doesn't even have access to that technology yet. And yeah, the research count here, I think, was the deciding factor. A lot better scouting from both players this game. But I think the research count was the deciding factor. Pretty big eco difference, but that's to be expected just because Liivet was in the castle age and had 3 TCs. Alright, so great game from both players. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. Unfortunately, those are the only 2 replay files I have received so far, but as I get more, I will continue streaming and commentating these matches. It looks like it's going to be a great tournament, and Liivet definitely deserved those wins, and I really, really look forward to seeing these next matches. Yep. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, guys. I believe that's it for now. I may do some streaming on my personal YouTube account later, on my personal Twitch account later, and you can find if you missed any of these matches, you can find them on the Aoe2 HD OZ Clan's official YouTube channel, which is on the screen right now, and they will also be uploaded to my personal YouTube channel quite a bit later. And yes, I do need to update those scores. I forgot to do that, but I am learning slowly. Alright, so that's it for now. Thank you for watching.